We give our final predictions on the Oklahoma Sooners first round college football playoff matchup against the Alabama Crimson Tide right now on Sooners Intel. Good evening, and welcome back to Sooners Intel. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, along with my co-hosts, Kchris Griffin from the Horns Down podcast and Mr. Mason, Chris Mason from Sooners 360. And if you love Sooners college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button on all three channels. Like all our videos, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss a moment of Sooners Intel. Gentlemen, we are about 47 hours away from kickoff, 46 hours if we want to get real technical. About 46 hours away from kickoff of the first ever college football playoff game inside the Palace at Gaylord Memorial Family Stadium at Oklahoma. How are we feeling tonight about that?
Chris Mason, go ahead.
I'm just waiting for the damn game to arrive. I mean, it's been a long week. It's been a long 3 weeks, 2 weeks, however you want to factor that in. It's the players are ready to play. The coaches are ready to get it on. Let's go. I think it's going to be a fantastic environment. Everybody I talk to is super psyched about it in state. So it's time to quit the talking and start the hitting.
Glad you said that. I am so excited for this game. Man, cannot wait. I've gotten in all the national and local content that I possibly can. Joel Klatt is not our worst enemy. It's Joel. I mean, it's Joey Galloway. My God, I don't think that he watches anything. Regardless, though, people, I will say this right here. Feel great about the matchup. Y'all know I've been feeling good these past couple of weeks. I feel really good about the matchup. We'll talk about why. There are some things to love, some things that we have to do, but I'm eager to see what version of OU do we get. All the time that they've had to rest, especially on the defensive side of the ball, but offensively as well, to try to retool and figure out something, right? Some type of consistency. But I will say, just piggybacking off of you, Chris Mason, I'll pass it off to Jason. Tired of all the talking. I feel like Bama is literally scratching. I mean, they're scraping at the bottom of that Happy Meal. I promise you, they're looking for every fry that's still in there because, my God, there's nothing at the bottom of the bag, baby. Like, it is what it is. Let's just go play some football. The lights are all messed up. Injuries.
That's some weak ass shit, that light stuff.
All this different stuff that I'm just like.
Have you not heard this?
I was like being on the field too long. I was just like, dude, let's go handle it. Like, y'all.
So in the last couple of hours, this is something that came out here today, I guess, the lights.
No, I think on Monday.
Yeah, Jeremy Bernard at his when he did his press conference, he mentioned that he thought that the lights were kind of weird and that kind of got him off his game last time because the way the lights at OU were placed and all of that. And I'm just like, hey man, let's just play football.
At least it's not because everybody looks at Alabama as their Super Bowl.
That too.
Oh my Lord. And they said they were wrong cleats. They wore the wrong cleats. Hey, you know what? It's a fucking personal problem. And you know what? It's wild to hear that coming from this program. Because these are not the kind of things that you would expect out of a program led by Nick Saban. I mean, you would expect Nick Saban. There might be some gamesmanship as far as what he says about certain things with officiating, or something. Like the old Phil Jackson way of like pre getting the officials ready for this or that or this or that. You could see that, but never excuse making on the level of what we're seeing coming out of this football program. And I think that it's becoming clear that maybe this coaching staff is just soft and can't get what they need to get out of this damn team. Now, far be it for me to be the one to sit here and tell anybody that I believe that Alabama is not going to have all they need to win this football game on Friday night, because we know that the talent's in the room.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're making excuses going into the game before you ever arrive in town, then what are you making excuses about? Are you trying to set it up for why you're going to lose again?
I just think that they're trying to look for whatever bulletin board that they can get with this game. I mean, it's just kind of clawing,
We
going back
took
to the Joey,
photos. We took photos. Ooh, ah.
going back to the Joey Galloway, conversation or whatever. It still goes back, and we talked about this the last time we were all together, Jason. A couple of things. Just let me unpack this if you guys don't mind. First off, national media, local media, anybody that's listening, please understand. If I go out there and guard Shea Gilgeous-Alexander right now, I'm retired, so he probably give me 40. But still, if he gives me 40 and I say, hey, Jason, hey, Chris Mason, look at the stat sheet, and you say, yeah, he got 40, mostly free throws, but he got 40 points on 10 of 35 shooting. You're going to say, okay, he was still working, he was still active, but that's a terrible day. You made him less efficient than what he already is.
Yeah, you made him work for his money.
I liken that to, hey, you may have gave up 240 something yards to Ty Simpson in the first half through the air. The latter part of that game, you only gave up 80 yards. But even with that, the turnovers, it wasn't like they gifted us those turnovers. You forced him into those scenarios. Same
Exactly
thing.
what I said this morning, Kchris. I was talking about a lot of this shit this morning because it's not just coming, and mostly I was more addressing stuff coming from either content creators. I did talk about what you heard about the Super Bowl deal.
Yeah.
So I thought that may be the dumbest one of all of them, but it may not be now that I'm hearing more of this shit.
Yeah.
In the end, the more that I look at it, guys, let's be real. In that first half of that game, they were able to put some yardage up there. They also turned the football over at an alarming rate. And one of those touchdowns, it's not too hard for you. Go back and look at the film. The interception that the second interception, the ball had already been picked whenever this contact happened that caused the flag and got the interference call. And they score on the next play. That's another touchdown they don't have. So you can make all the excuses in the world you want to about why you lost the game. We gave away 10. We gave y'all 10 points. No, you didn't. You didn't give away shit. You threw an interception.
We took.
You threw an interception that Eli Bowen took 86 yards to the house. You had a fumble that Taylor Wine took out your quarterback's hands, and then you got a 52-yarder that Tate Sandell took out your ass in your stadium.
Jaden Hardy punched the ball out of Ryan Williams.
Ball out on Ryan Williams.
It didn't fall out on its own.
Those are not giveaways. These are all takeaways. These are all things that the Oklahoma defense did. And I'm sorry, but yardage doesn't mean shit.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't mean shit.
And that's the whole thing. And I'm gonna kill this point just here. Not our points. We can keep going about this, but my point with the whole Joey Galloway thing is that you listen to him and Kirk Herbstreit on the podcast, and you think, oh, he literally says, I'm just not sure if Oklahoma, excuse me, I'm not sure if Oklahoma can force Ty Simpson into scenarios where he just feels like he just can't get the ball to anybody, and the picture is constantly changing and this and that. And you read the comments, and everybody's like, you can tell that he obviously did not watch that game. These are OU, Bama, and other fans as well, mostly OU fans, but they're in those comments. They're saying Kirby Smart came out and said Oklahoma gave us the blueprint of how to beat Alabama. And you saw what they did. I told Chris Mason earlier this week, Jason, and you've heard me say this plenty of times, especially last year when we had JFA. There are certain games that you call blueprint games of how to beat somebody. And you may not be the one who fully executes and beats that team, but I could damn sure assure you that there are going to be 1 to 2 other teams in the that they play after you that will actually execute and make life very, very difficult for them. And that's what you saw at the SEC championship game. When I watched Bama, I don't care if they're getting Jam Miller back or these guys back or whatever. It's going to
Jam
be the
Miller played
same.
the first time. Jam Miller played the first time.
It's going to be more of the same thing. The only thing that's, in my opinion, that's going to be super different about this offense coming out here is, obviously go watch breakdown, all the rest of that stuff. I agree. ISO routes, but I also believe it's going to be a heavy screen game because I just don't think that Ty Simpson is dealing with some type of injury. I'm not going to sit here and say he's as injured as people have led on and people think that he is, but I think that he's dealing with an injury. And I think that at the end of the day, they know that the blitz is coming. They know that there's going to be a lot of pressure, so they're going to have to get the ball out of his hand. There's going to be a lot of screens and a lot of short game, a lot of quick game that they try to do. People gear up because this is going to be one of those non-con games we always talk about where they're getting the ball out of his hands very quickly. They're not going to have time to sit there and try to wait for Horton and some of those guys to get open and try to, make their routes. They're going to have to win short game, consistently moving the ball because that is what's going to have to replace their run game. They're not running on us. I don't care if Hill is having a great day. I don't care if Jam Miller is healthy. It's not happening. Go ahead.
He pretty much left the Georgia game. Hill did, and good for them if they get Jam Miller back. But
this dude down here, Bone, is saying Bama don't run screens, and I'm like, dude, if you go watch
the touchdown, the only touchdown against Georgia, it's basically like a middle screen, right?
It's a middle screen. And what did they run for Ryan Williams? They run bubble screens. What are we talking about, bro? You don't know ball. You don't watch the game. It's crazy.
So the only comment I would make on Joey Galloway is he's currently denying some beautiful village in England a perfectly good idiot.
Yeah.
He's always been I don't know why he's cashing a paycheck at ESPN. He's always been, unless they have some Ohio State wide receiver agreement to offset Desmond Howard's idiocy as a Michigan wide receiver, because basically the two guys are both basically, they're terrible. They're awful. I don't know why they're cashing paychecks, but I think Galloway is on the Herb Street thing to be sort of like Ed McMahon next to Johnny Carson. He's supposed to be there. Ha, Herb Street, you're so smart. That's a great insight, Herb Street. You're so intelligent. But from that perspective. But so here's couple of quick thoughts on why I'm baffled everybody's picking Alabama, right? So I've watched a lot of college football for the last 20 years and rematches, and generally you pick the loser for one of two reasons, right? To win the rematch, right? The first one is the change in location benefits the loser, right?
It's hard to beat a team twice.
It benefits the loser, right? It's moving to a neutral location, or you're getting that team at home. It's a change of direction, or you're getting that team at home, right? Well, Bama's going on the road where their stats are significantly worse. They're not a good road team, haven't been a good road team this year. Or the second reason you choose the loser is there's been a significant gap between the two games, and the loser is substantively improved in their play on the field. Like when Oklahoma beat Texas in 2018, right? For the time we left Dallas, fired Mike Stoops, that Oklahoma team was better than that Texas team the rest of the season. So when they had a rematch on a neutral site, Oklahoma, that's why folks thought Oklahoma would win that game. But Bama hasn't looked substantively improved since they played us. It was only 4 weeks ago. It wasn't like it was October 1st. It's in November. And to be honest, they've looked terrible since they played us. Culminating in Georgia dump trucking them for 60 minutes in Atlanta, where they were really just physically pounded. So that's why I'm very confused as to folks going, well, Alabama will be better this time. What exactly are you basing that on? Other than hope? There's nothing on the field, and they have to go to Norman, where they've never won. I watched Eric Bassey return a fumble for a touchdown in 2002 after the Ronaldo Works miracle shuffle pass to come from behind and win that game. Last year our worst team in 25 years beat Alabama by double digits. So I'm not exactly understanding how going to Norman isn't a big factor. And Alabama, to Chris's point, OU beat up Ty Simpson, blitzed, and got to him, and pretty much everybody since then. All day long. And pretty much everybody since then has done that. If you didn't watch the Iron Bowl, they're a Cam Coleman fumble away from going overtime. Cam Coleman's about to score, and then he fumbles that ball. And they had Auburn put up 400 yards of offense on Alabama that day. And Alabama only had something like 280 with only like 112 passing yards. That's on the road at Auburn, a defense I don't think is anywhere. I think Auburn's defense is very good, but I don't think it's as good as Oklahoma's. And OU's offense, I think, in a land of guys not playing great offense, OU's offense is better than Auburn's offense. Better at quarterback.
You can make all the excuses in the fucking world that you want to make. You can make every excuse in the world if you want to. The facts are the facts. You turned the ball over 3 times, and there was a fourth one that shouldn't have been overturned by that interference call because the ball had already been picked by the time the guy got touched. You get part of your points off of that.
Yeah, and Jennings probably returns that 30, 40 yards. Field was wide freaking open.
Yeah, you took the lead with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Oklahoma immediately takes the lead back. There's 13 minutes left. And in that 13 minutes of fourth quarter time in your own house, you can't go down and kick a fucking field goal. Not to mention the fact you had the ball for the last 6.5 minutes of the game and couldn't get it past the 50-yard line. 6.5 minutes.
They went 42 yards.
Yeah, a total of 42 yards. It took them all that time, and they end up turnover on downs. Bye-bye. See, it's over with. You didn't do shit in the second half. I don't care how many yards you had. I don't care. None of it matters when you turn the football over and you lose. And you lost. And you lost in your house. A place that should never happen. And you know what? Nobody has been disrespecting Alabama until Alabama players and staff and everybody else starts talking their shit about what Oklahoma did and do, and how lucky they were, and that everything about the lights and the cleats and every fucking thing else last year. And then we're listening to all this bullshit jabber talk about how we gave you 10 points and you only won by 2. No, they took 10 points and actually took more than that. They took the ball away from Ryan Williams when he was running down the field on that punt return, punched it out. They took away the damn interception from Ty Simpson and went 86 yards to the house. They took away another fumble from him and kicked a 50-yard field goal. None of that is given to them. They took it away from you because they're the more physical program. End of story. This is not Nick Saban's freaking Bama anymore. You might as well get used to it. That ain't who you got.
I also heard they're scared of the ponies. The ponies scared them.
Oh, that's a shame.
The only thing that I'll add to this, because it's not even really worth our time, but still, they scored 14 points off of kind of, you want to call them trick plays, one gotcha play, however you want to go about it. Let's just talk about that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's going to be an issue too, getting the calls in early and knowing kind of what you're doing. I think that's something that you're going to see a big
You
investment.
turned the ball over, Bone, because it was taken away from you because you got boogered up on your offensive line. The front seven of OU beat you down all day.
So
Oh yeah, and Bone, we agree. We agree. That's what we say. We want to see it on the field. We tired of the talking.
yeah.
Y'all been doing a lot of extra talking. Ain't nobody even talking about y'all. All we worried about, is OU. Because at the end of the day, I put it like this right here. All three of us, I think we all agree on this. OU wins if OU doesn't beat themselves. Just putting it like that. You guys don't play well away from home. A lot of injuries on both sides. We know guys are going to be able to play. What will they be like? What will they look like? Really boils down to, we could talk about Ty Simpson all day. It really boils down to what is Mateer and company going to do offensively. Obviously, the last game against LSU was way less than desirable. Missouri was less than desirable, but you still
Well,
got the job.
LSU was different. LSU was better and
Mhm.
worse.
It was yes.
I mean,
That's a good way to
so
describe it.
Chris, I got one question. Why do you think Bama is so slow in their pace of play? I was watching that Georgia game, and it's like they're a pass happy offense, but they don't have they don't appear to have the ability to go no huddle and go fast. They were like taking 30 seconds between every play. I mean, they're down. I guess it was 21-7 against Georgia, middle third quarter or whatever. They had just put a touchdown up, and they're glacial in their pace of play. Do you think they can go no huddle against OU?
I think they're going to have to. I mean, last time when they played us, they were trying to kind of just give us variation, a little hurry up here, little stall plays, a little this and that, huddle, doing all different things, giving OU different looks just to try to, make sure. It was really interesting because they didn't really, they did some shifts, they didn't do a lot of shifts. But to me, I think it's just the fact that, look, Ty Simpson knows, hey, they especially against Georgia. I think you're trying to make the checks. You're trying to get all the protection. You're trying to make sure everybody's where they need to be because Georgia was putting 6 on the line a lot. They were putting 7 guys up. They were in that box an awful lot, and they flooded it. And so he was having to make quick decisions. He was having to do a lot of processing before the ball snapped, and I think that's what messed with that whole whatever they were trying to do, just trying to figure that stuff out. They had good matchups. They had some good drives going, just could not capitalize. But it was a thing where the game got away from them, and Bone may say it's injuries or whatever the case may be, but against Georgia, it just simply no, it just was not working for whatever reason. It just could not capitalize, even though they had some good explosive plays. Looked like Ryan Williams finally showed up. I know he's kind of been absent. We all know what type of talent that kid is, but to me, that's the key. You get him going. If you can get, obviously Bernard is going to be all around, but if you can get Ryan Williams to go, you can get that 1-2 with those guys. That's whenever they seem to have the most success, in my opinion. But yeah, I just think it
Where's
was a
Ryan
tough day at
Williams
the
been
office
since
because
that
they were
day?
giving him a
Where's
lot to
Ryan
try to
Williams been
process.
since that day? That's a good question. Where's he been? He ain't done shit either. And guess what? Your best player, it doesn't sound like he's going to be able to. Your tight end, the only guy that really did anything to Oklahoma all day, it doesn't sound like he's going to be available. Or at least he's not going to be at his best if he is.
Sounds like he's probable now, but
You're in trouble, man. You're in
but
trouble.
he's beat up, as you said. He's been beat
Oklahoma's
up. So
gonna have to really, they're going to have to play terribly, turn the ball over, do what you did, and they're probably still going to have chances to win. But unless they beat themselves, you're going to get an ass whipping like you took last year, because the difference is you are one-dimensional against Oklahoma. When you're one-dimensional against Oklahoma, they bury you. That's all there is. They bury your ass.
yeah, over to Jesse Browning. Yeah, Overton's out.
Yeah.
So their best defensive line. So this is one other. This is a big personnel shift, right, from the last game, right? LT Overton's out. He's their best defensive lineman. And our Mason Thomas is back in, which I think is getting ignored by some national media because that's a strip sack. That's a third down. That's a third down and long punt waiting to happen. Possession ending guy. I mean, our Mason Thomas is, their ends are huge, and they apparently can't run block, and they suck at pass pro against speed rushers. As much as Taylor Wine
for the softness to set in when Saban left.
Yeah, I mean the softification, to create a word that doesn't exist. Well, yeah, that works too. But yeah, if in my mind, it's bizarre. Alabama's got these two massive tackles, right? And they can't run the ball. And these guys, I don't know why. I keep seeing mock drafts of Proctor in the first round. I have no idea what those guys are thinking. He can't handle speed rushers in the college game. What the hell is he going to do in the pros? I mean, they're going to eat him up. They're going to eat him alive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
just like we just got done eating this bone 3200 alive. Running his yapper, and then he didn't have a fucking argument once we said anything to him.
Yeah, so that was already not in Alabama's favor, and now we're bringing in our Mason Thomas back, our second team All-American. Yeah. All SEC caliber defensive end.
You don't have an argument, bro. You don't have an argument.
Well, we beat Saban too, so don't ignore that, Bone.
Listen, I mean, in the end, y'all soft. Jalen Milroe came in here, got hit on the first play, and didn't want the football anymore.
He didn't even try and tackle Kip Lewis on a pick six return.
Shit, no.
He kind of olayed against him.
And I think, listen, there was a lot of things that it went Oklahoma's way in it. But here's the thing. When you go and you make things happen in your opponent's stadium in that place, and I'll tell you, I've said this a bunch. That was the best atmosphere I've been in for a college football game in a long time. A long time. For an away atmosphere, I haven't witnessed anything better. It was unreal good. But Oklahoma took it to you from the first minute.
Do you want to go through our game picks? Are we ready to do that, Jason, or do you need a minute?
The defense was gashed. Yeah.
21 points is gashed. That's
21 points. Yeah.
We've seen bad defense for years, Bone. You know what a defense getting gashed looks like.
What is your average per game there, big dog? I mean, what have you guys been averaging on everybody else? Because you didn't get there that day. And if I remember correctly, Ty Simpson came into the game with one turnover. He had 4 whenever it was over with. I mean, it is what it is. Soft as baby shit. That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. We're not talking about Texas. We're not talking about your Auburn game neither. Nobody gives a shit. You guys got through that one. Good for you. It definitely doesn't look like the Alabama that we saw in week 4 going into Athens and winning. That's not what we're looking at right now. This is not the same football team we're seeing right now, is it? I mean, that's just all I can say is I don't see that. When you don't have, look, dude, come on, man. If you don't have the best player on that offense all year, the entire year, has been what's his name? The tight end guy. What's his name?
Cuevas.
Yeah, Cuevas. Yeah, Josh Cuevas. And y'all needed a bunch of trick plays to get his ass open. You were burnt, bro. But it's cool. We'll say, and you know what? It is going to be what it is. Everybody can talk all this shit they want. I'm ready for this game. I'm excited for it. I know if Oklahoma can beat you in your house, I don't want to hear that oh, it's hard to beat a team a second time. Yeah, sometimes it is. It's usually not whenever you get them at home the next time. It's going to be it's a different animal. Whatever Jeremy Bernard has a problem with the lights, they didn't change them since last year. So that's going to be a problem again. I would think it's going to be under the lights. So, get ready for all that stuff. Get ready for all that stuff. I don't know. Did you guys add a bunch of all pro, offensive linemen to protect your hobbling quarterback too? I think you're in trouble, bro. I think you're in trouble. Okay. Should we just move on to these predictions real quick, and then I'll finish up our
Sure.
get our hold on real quick.
You gonna do the in-game predictions? I don't think you guys did the playoff games, did you?
I did the in-game predictions, and I did the playoff bracket.
Yeah, the playoff games. We're gonna bid
a playoff bracket.
I put the playoff games. It was right next to in-game predictions. Guys might not have seen it.
Oh, no, I didn't. We can just call those out.
We just pull those out. Yeah. Okay. No worries. No worries.
Let's do the in-games real quick. Let me pull those up real quick, and I'll have them up there. But what do you think the key is? Kchris, what's the key to Oklahoma winning this game?
I'll be honest with you. Watching Bama these past couple of weeks, offensively, I think it is stick to some of your bread and butter. I think, yes, you do need to do what you did, in parts and pieces against LSU, where you're pushing the ball down the field, especially the middle. Again, they're opportunistic, they're all the rest of this stuff, but I think the short game as well can open up for you. Some of the screens, different things like that. You just have to hit on that. Biggest key is can we, sustain drives? Can we have some long drives? Can we get some help from our special teams, which I believe we will? And then also on top of that, can we get a run game? As far as I know, the running backs are healthy. Seems like we may have a third guy that's in that rotation. Who that is going to be, whether it's Barnes or somebody else, I don't know. But if you have a healthy X-Rob, you have a healthy or as healthy as they can be, and they're able to move the rock or whatnot, and they're able to give Mateer and guys spells, and they should be fine. But I think what it all boils down to is connect on the plays you need to connect on, hit the explosive plays when you get a chance, but also at the same time, move the ball on the ground, move the ball in that short game, and those passes be crisp. That's the biggest thing for me. I think that when I was watching that defense or whatnot, and I watched Georgia especially, Georgia wasn't necessarily trying to just push the ball down the field the whole time. Obviously, they have a cheat code with Brent back there who can catch screens and just catch, just right there, just stick it right there to him. And that guy takes off, and he's getting 7, 8+ yards on every time he touches the ball, and he's a home run threat as well. Not saying that we have a branch in our wide receiver core, but we have guys that can definitely get it done. So for me, I think that it is just being able to move the ball. Don't put the ball in harm's way. Don't put the ball in harm's way, Mateer. I think that LSU is in the past. LSU is in the rear view. All you got to do is just hopefully be optimistic about what his performance is going to look like. But again, offensively, that's what I would boil it down to, is just simply sticking to your bread and butter, moving the ball when you can, and how you have been basically with the short game. Get Kennick involved. They don't cover tight ends well. And again, you can run the ball against Bama. You just have to commit to it. Defensively, again, just confuse, pressure, confuse, pressure, confuse on the back end, change the picture.
Still confused from last time, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing. It's not really too much difference than the last time. Be ready for the screens, the little passes, and then also just Quavers going around basically on those little drags, different things like that. Be ready for those and get the play call in as soon as possible, because they're going to try to catch you. But other than that, I think you honestly should be fine. You match up well against them. You know their tendencies, what they want to do, how they want to get guys involved. This new wrinkle, and I've watched a lot of Bama football, and I know that it is a wrinkle in their offense with Bernard lining up at running back. That's not a secret, right? So some of the things they want to do with him.
Not a secret.
Yeah, it's not a secret. You know what they want to do with him, moving him all around, just like with Williams as well. So, again, I think the guys are up to the challenge. Think it's going to be a great test, but again, it just boils down to what version of OU are you going to get. I think we're all pretty confident about the defense, about the special teams. Offensively, you just have to go out there and be consistent and play complementary football. That's all that we're asking. You're going to be in a lot of you're going to have a lot of opportunities to score points, whether that's a field goal or a touchdown. Field goals aren't going to win the game necessarily the entire time, so you got to go put on some points. But again, we've seen this offense time and time again when they need to answer, they go and answer. So I'm gonna put faith in them to get it right, to right the ship, and to help us go get this victory. But again, put it all on the defense, but offense, you gotta be able to play complementary football. I think that's the true key right there to winning this game.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and toss these predictions up there. We can talk through it. It's obviously over the top of this page right here. So here's our in-game projections for the game this weekend. Look, I don't think it's any question or surprise as to why you've got things the way that you have them. I changed up a little different from you guys. I think that Blaylock looked really good in that last game against a really good defensively sound LSU team. He was able to move the ball. I think if they are healthier in every place that they are across that offensive line, like we're hearing, and he's not feeling as banged up, he was definitely the more fresh of the two guys at the end of the year.
He looked closest in big runs than against LSU.
Yeah,
You're right about that. Yeah.
So I mean, it could happen, but I would it surprise me if it was extra? No, I just wanted to throw in that it could be either one of them. So you have to worry about both of them, not just one. I think that until Sategna isn't the leading receiver, he's the leading receiver, right? I don't think it's that hard there on that. But anything you guys want to say about this?
Not really.
Move on to the next one then. 300 yards on offense. We all said yes. Tell me why.
Go ahead, Chris Mason.
Well, I think we just saw OU put up 400 yards of offense on LSU. They're healthier. They have a better run game complement. Mateer, according to my sources, in practice is looking as mobile as he's looked all year long. He's throwing the ball well. We know the tape is off the thumb. The thumb is in better shape than it's been forever, because obviously when he was throwing the ball, that wasn't promoting the healing that it needed to go through, right? I mean, we should have shut him down for 4 weeks. They just decided not to do that. So, and it worked out by hook or by crook for the most part. So I just think OU. I just think they hit Canick a little more against LSU. I think there's a Burks when Mateer was throwing well, Burks was part of this mix too, right? So I just think there's enough playmakers, and I think OU's healthy enough that I think they can get closer to 400 yards in this football game, 350, 325, whatever you want to call it, that combination of running and passing.
I actually had thought I changed it to not getting to quite 300, but either way, I think it's going to take close to that probably to feel good about where they're at. Obviously, I think that this is a defensively won game. I think if you can hold them under 400, you're probably in great shape to do what you did last time. But Kchris, why do you believe that they're going to do it this time around?
Well, as far as 300 yards, just got a feeling, man. I think that, again, lackluster, a lot of different ways that you could describe the offense at times. But again, people, they're trying. It's not for a lack of effort. It's not for a lack of trying, honestly, on their part. You go to the Missouri game. I love the game plan. You try to get vertical. You tried to hit on a bunch of passes. Half of the passes you can say, hey, Mateer, you got to put touch on the ball. Some of the passes you just say, I mean, our outside guy is a 5'9" wide receiver, And Burks is really good, and Burks has shown that he can play outside. Let's not act like he hasn't, especially at his time at Purdue. But again, just whatever the disconnect were, because I think that if we see a bunch of those passes connect, we're sitting here with a whole different story. Moving to the LSU game, yes, the picks. One of them tip ball kind of is what it is. Next two, no, that we're not even gonna really go there. But when you watch, hey, he's throwing the ball down the field. He's throwing it over the middle. He's trying to go through his progressions. He's seeing different things. Looks like Giovanni Gibson is starting to come into form. You're connecting on the cash plays. It's the other things. It's the little things right there. But I just feel like this offense is due for a pretty big game. And I'll be honest with you, for better or for worse, with the seasons, it seems like whenever these guys play under the lights at the Palace, seems like things just go really well for them, and the stars align on those nights where they play at the Palace under the lights. So I just got a feeling that this is going to be a really good game for that offense, and they're going to put some of these guys. They're going to quiet some of the naysayers, but it's still going to be a lot more out there because you got to go prove it again the very next week if you are to win. But just got a good feeling that this offense is going to get it going finally again.
Okay. All right. Will OU hold Bama under 300 yards of offense this time around? And I don't think that they do. I think that overall, I think you don't mind them getting some yardage here and there. What you want to do is continue to stop them from getting in the end zone, turning them over. I think you're going to do that with the pressure you're going to get. Now, I mean, again, would it surprise me if they did? Not necessarily. Especially our Mason coming back. If he's as good as it feels like to me, they're not bringing him back unless he's ready to be back. Because they haven't really missed him a ton, and I don't mean to say that in any bad way towards our Mason. Our Mason's a bad dude. Taylor Wine stepped in nicely in that position and played fantastic. Right, for the entirety of the time, he was already playing well before he went out, but he stepped in, picked up the role as the main sack guy from the edge, and I think that they're going to do that. But now you have another one that you got to worry about for sure. I also think that the way that Peyton Bowen's been playing, both of the Bowen brothers, and the way that you've seen both of the Cheetahs play between Reggie Powers as well as Kendall Daniels, it wouldn't surprise you if they continue to increase where the pressure is coming from and getting home. I think that Ty Simpson's in trouble in this game, but 300 yards, would it really? I mean,
they could get garbage. Could be some garbage yards based on your score, Jason. There could be some garbage yards easily based upon your score, right?
Yeah.
Could be some garbage yards in the fourth quarter they get where they're kind of driving for a pointless field goal or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the end, again, I could care less how many yards they give up. I don't care. If they continue to turn them over, and they've done that in their last two meetings where they've been able to turn them over, if they can do that, I think that you win the game. You win the game. And so, again, they're going to be one-dimensional. They're not running. You're not running the football on this Oklahoma defense. You're not doing it. I will put everything on that. So you might be able to put whatever through the air, but you better get in the end zone more than you did last time and not turn the ball over. And I just don't see that really happening. So we'll see kind of how it goes. Oh, man, I can't even see that for shit now.
Will the Sooners force 2+ turnovers?
Yeah, that's next. Yeah, that red is not good on there. That was 2+ turnovers. Yeah, I think they do. But what are your guys' thoughts on not getting that many? You think they're just going to kind of ball up and try to do something they don't, which is like run the ball, or what?
I think they're going to be very conservative for most of the game and just try and keep Simpson. It's going to be a lot of quick throws, which I think are going to lead to a lot of punts. But I just don't think they're going to drop back. They're talking about doing some. Teddy was talking about he thinks they're going to do some under center work and just doing everything to kind of keep Simpson from getting beat up. So I think OU gets a turnover in the fourth quarter when Alabama can no longer just sort of stay in a shell.
I agree with you, Chris Mason, on that. I think it's a lot of quick game. I think we will see. To me, I think that's where if you watch the Bama game, contrary to belief of some people, the Georgia game, excuse me. If you watch the Georgia game, I mean, that's a lot of what they did. Obviously they still had the longer developing routes and they did some things in there, but I mean, for the most part, they were getting the ball out of his hands very quickly. They were trying to just beat them on the perimeter a whole lot. And they had some successful runs, um, just here and there. They always pop a run or two, but it's just not consistent. But again, it's a lot of the quick game because that replaces if you have a good short game, a good medium intermediary game. I mean, it can effectively
Be a running game, right?
be your running game. So I just think that that's what you're going to see an awful lot of, try to lull you to sleep and then find matchups that they want down the field. I mean, that to me, I just think that's what they're trying to do. But could I see 2 picks? Hell yes. I think you could see that. You could see another strip fumble again. I mean,
I think in order for them to have a chance to win this game, they have to put the ball in danger. That's why I've got.
I mean, I think with Wine or Mason, what is our Mason going to look like? If our Mason is back to his normal self, that's going to be hell. But at the same time, you also got to think about that interior D line, Stoney, Jaden Jackson. Those guys are rested now. They've been dealing with some stuff. Everybody's been dealing with some stuff on this team, but you've had 3 weeks off, and obviously these last 2 weeks been practicing. But again, I think guys are feeling good. I feel really good.
I think we may have I think there's going to be I think Bama is going to make a special team mistake that is technically not a turnover, but functions like a turnover, if that makes sense.
Okay. And what I mean, explain.
Like shank punt for 10 yards.
Missing a field goal around.
Missing a key field goal, getting a field goal blocked.
Aha.
I don't know if we get a punt blocked, but I think that's a distinct possibility. Or the guy so worried about getting blocked, shanks a punt, 20 yards, right? And it's, and instead of being OU's at the Bama 40 instead of, they punt from inside their territory and they shank a punt and or they have a really terrible punt and, Satanya's fair catching something at like the 40, just something that's field position like a turnover, but it's not technically a turnover.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, their special teams are for crap, and ours are super confident and playing great. So,
right. You've had blocked field goals, you've had blocked punts.
Yep. That their kicking game is weak.
You just returned one all the way to the house. You've had some really good returns.
Yeah, so
you got one home.
So stuff like that, shank punt, maybe their punter doesn't get blocked, but he drops the snap because he's thinking about getting blocked, right? And instead he gets tackled, and that's not really a turnover. It's just turnover on downs, right? So there's some special teams. The gap between the special teams units is significant. So there's lots of ways that shows up, right? Snap over the head, all kinds of stuff like that. It just that they're, we have the best deep long snapper. He's probably should win the long snapper award. We have a first team punter. We have the Lou Groza winner. Satanya's returning punts. Just or even a mistake, right? Ryan Williams tries to make a big play to the calling fair catch. Runs backwards and gets tackled on like the 2-yard line, and they're giving up field position. These are the mistakes they're making. They're making mental errors in the kicking game, which we're not.
Right. And I pulled this comment up. Y'all see the report. Giovanni is almost 100% now, and we've been seeing
that's Jaden Jackson.
Oh, Jaden Jackson. Oh, yeah.
And he's much healthier.
Right. But Giovanni, the point I was making is it wouldn't be. I almost picked Giovanni Gibson as the leading receiver. He's been trending in the right direction, and I think that we're holding out a lot of hope for what he's going to be in the future. But it wouldn't be surprising to me if you see them kind of go all out to kind of put the clamps down on Sategna, and you get a guy like him that breaks one or something like that. He is explosive, and we've been seeing him kind of trend in the right direction. But as far as JJ, Jaden Jackson, yeah, he hadn't played a whole lot of snaps in the last 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
They didn't miss him a ton because they're that good up front. But that being said, it's a lot better when he's healthy. Again, all these things trend in the direction of the home team, the good guys, the not soft crew, that to me. So, yeah, anyway. I agree with what you're saying about the special teams as well.
But does it
score a defensive touchdown? I think they do.
Well, are we going to have a play over 50 yards?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, at least I do. I think we all said yes. So, what would be your prediction on what kind of play we talking?
I think we're going to have a running play over 50 yards.
Ooh.
I think Robinson is gonna. They're gonna be a little worn down. They're gonna be not quite paying attention, and he's gonna do like a fourth quarter Trey Sermon, like 50-yard run.
I love that. That means you're grinding their asses down for a large part of the game.
I think they're going to punt though. I think they're going to be very conservative on offense. That's going to lead to a lot of punts, and if we can put some drives together, then they don't have the depth we have, right? I mean, on offense, we're getting a lot of players back on offense, and on defense, we have defensive depth like no one else in the country. Having watched the best teams over the last couple of weeks, Indiana doesn't have this kind of depth, neither does Ohio State.
No, they don't.
Georgia might, but they don't have They don't have the difference makers in the D line that we do.
Okay, Chris, what's your 50-yard play?
You said what's my 50-yard play?
Yeah.
50-yard play. I think we catch. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think we catch Satania on something. It's either a drag, maybe a slant. It's something dealing with Satania. It's either him or I would say probably X-Rob could break off a long run, but I think it's more likely going to be a Satania play.
Like a short route that he takes for longer yards.
Yeah,
that 50 is a big rack component, is what you're thinking.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it could go either any of those ways. I would say Satania, but I also think, like I said, they could try to bottle him up, and I could see you getting another one of these guys, whether it be Gibson, Keontez Lewis. I know he's supposed to be coming back as well. Or even like Gajarin Kanik, he seems to find soft spots in the defense quite a bit. If they find him, maybe he gets a touchdown this game. He's been due one, but way past due, really. Yeah,
to answer Jesse Browning's question, we're not hearing a lot about any freshmen. I guess I think we all love to see it, a jet sweep with Elijah Thomas, but I'm not sure we're getting anything like that.
Yeah. All right.
That's what I'd love to see.
Yeah, Tommy Tough Knuckle says a bomb tutty for Keontez Lewis as well. All right. We'll see how it goes. All right. Let's go the next one. Defensive touchdown. Myself and Mr. Mason both said yes on that one. I think the other Bowen brother gets one. Or, you could see a Kip 6. I almost went, moving to the next one just or a little early about who would be the MVP. A turnover would probably be the cause of that, you know what I mean? And so I almost went with Kip Lewis, but you already had him, so I wanted to bring up. I could see Bowen. Peyton has been fantastic the last half of the year. He seems to make a play Johnny on the spot at least a couple of times a week. I can see him being one taking it to the house, but I think Kip Lewis. I don't know how many of you guys caught the Red Dirt Rambles from the other day, and they were talking, and Kip was talking about how they got screwed on the SEC honors. Not one of those defensive linemen being on those teams
or linebackers,
it pissed him. He said, "You know what? I don't care about honors for us because they're talking about we're going to go win a natty. That's what we're trying to do." But it's a mental note. And we took some, and I took some names down, and there's going to be plenty to talk about on the field. And so I feel like you're about to see something, not that we don't every week, but I think Kip Lewis is, if there's another level for him that he gets to, oh shit.
Well, he's the king. I chose him because he's the king of Alabama, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's the king of Alabama, right? I mean, two return touchdowns last year. He played out of his mind against Bama in Tuscaloosa. He's I mean, you're right, Jason. He's my defensive touchdown guy. It's a Kip 6. And if he takes a Kip 6 back again, that crowd is going to go. If we had a roof, it would be disintegrated when he runs that back. So
yeah, they'll hear us. They'll hear us in Lawton.
So or it's a scoop. It's a scoop and score from a strip or a fumble from RMT or somebody. I mean, it's just Kip Lewis plays great against Alabama teams. I don't see anything that tells me that trend is going in another direction.
Right. Will Tate Sandell have a 50-plus yard field goal? I think we all think so. All you got to do is just, I mean, shit, he's in range when he gets out of bed.
We just got to get to the 35-yard line. That could be one of those special teams kind of, they have a short punt. We get a small return. We get 2 first downs, and all of a sudden we're at the 35-yard line. The drive stalls out, and Sandell comes out, and we put 3 points up, and Bama's wondering, we played good defense. What the hell's going on? And we just, by the special team secret yardage, which doesn't go in total yardage, somehow that's how we get key 3 points in the game.
Yep. I think all of our scores are figuring in and factoring in a Tate Sandell field goal at some point, at least one, possibly as many as 3. Mine, I think, is probably more like 3. So, yeah. Anyway, defensive MVP. Talk about Taylor Weinke, Chris. I mean, and again, he's been fantastic for the better part of this season, but certainly since R. Mason went down.
Yeah, no, I mean, here's the thing: is that again, if R. Mason is the guy that we think he is coming off this injury, and he gets back to that, I mean, just think about we get past Bama, what that looks like down the line. You're going to have to game plan for him regardless. You have to game plan for R. Mason. You can't just sit here now and say, oh, yeah, he's coming off an injury, so let's focus on Taylor Wine. I would not do that, because you're going to have a plethora of guys now, and now guys are going to be fresh, because at the end of the day, would you want R. Mason Thomas playing? Hell yes. But it's giving guys like PJ and Okoye more reps at that spot as well to be disruptive too. And those guys have picked up sacks, TFLs, all types of things.
Jones has been really good too over these last 4 games too.
Yes. So the whole thing is that Wine has been nothing but great this year. And so the whole thing is that, again, I think that you no longer can go and say, yeah, we're just going to game plan for him because we need somebody. We don't have to talk about that. We don't have to have that conversation. You know that, hey, both of these guys are going to get after the quarterback and they're going to get home. So now it's going to be super important for a guy like Ty Simpson to step up in the pocket, which he loves to do. But if Jaden Jackson is healthy and the rest of that crew with Stoney and all of them are doing what they need to do, and G-Baby,
Dominic's playing better and pushing the pocket as well.
Exactly. He's gonna have to figure it out in that pocket how to maneuver around. But I just think that Wine, especially him being healthy, R. Mason coming back or whatnot, I think that's the guy right there that could cause havoc, because he's gonna be all on both sides. You know that. So he's gonna be on both sides at both spots at the end, left and right. So he's going to I think he's gonna be really disruptive this game. Really disruptive.
Okay. Yeah. And goated, another Bowen pass breakup. I mean, it's part of the reason that I've got him as the defensive MVP for the game. I think that he gets a pick 6, breaks up some passes. Look, both of the Bowen brothers have had a nose for the football. I mean, they kind of have since they've gotten here. I think that we've seen more out of Peyton Bowen this season and a lot of that's due to his health. I think that he's been healthy this year, but he's really taken over that leader in the defensive backfield that was left by, when losing Billy Bowman from last year. So he's stepped up into that role. He's always around the football. He just seems to have, and he seems to read what's coming off the quarterbacks, something fierce. So, I think that it wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, would it surprise anybody? It wouldn't. And I think, you could see it being Cortland. You could see it being,
Jacoby Johnson could make some big plays.
Absolutely. Jacoby's been fantastic.
If they're going to focus on the short passing game, it could be a Reggie Powers, 13 tackle kind of day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the play of the secondary overall has been what's turned this defense from, wow, you're very, very, very good into elite. I mean,
and that was our question, right, Mr. Mason? I think at the start of the year,
preseason,
our
we were talking about that.
Was that the offense was going to be considerably better than it has been. But our question was, okay, we know it's going to be a good defense. Is it going to be?
We thought the front seven would be great, right? We thought the front seven was going to be great.
Absolutely, but we weren't. But it was just you just didn't know what you were going to get out of a bunch of guys that you hadn't seen a ton of time. RSJ and Peyton had played significant time. You'd gotten some good things out of Eli, but Eli started the year hurt.
Right, we didn't get Eli. I mean, Eli really took until about the Tennessee game for him to really get into game shape, really.
Correct. Right. So the fact is that they've never. I mean, I think that Cortland Guillory again. To me, Cortland's probably. It's easy to. I think Torrey Blaylock offensively my freshman of the year, but you could any of these freshmen that have played a lot consider. I mean, offensive line. I mean, Michael Fasusi's been fantastic. Obviously, Cortland's been fantastic as well. I mean, you've had some guys that have really stepped it up as true freshmen. Cortland Guillory had his. And I mean, we're talking about being really nitpicky if we're gonna talk about Cortland going through growing pains or anything in that secondary. When you go up against a Cam Coleman, that's a number one NFL receiver. It's a true number one receiver at the next level, and he didn't even have 100 yards. You know what I mean? He gave up a couple of big plays to him. He was also right there. Next to him, you're not going to stop those guys all the time.
He's had some unfair PIs too. I mean, really seriously. And the only reason I think they got thrown sometimes was because he was a freshman. Like, well, he doesn't have the rep. But I mean, I think Peyton Bowen's a good choice. I think Wine's a good choice because I do think Bama could be ultra focused on RMT, and all of a sudden Wine's like, oh, thank you, and he just bulldozes.
For that matter, you might end up getting a guy like Danny Okoye, who's flashed when he's come in a lot lately.
He is. I mean, he's
take your eyes off of him for a second. See what happens.
Well, Marvin Jones Jr. could easily make a play. PJ could easily make a play. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's again, this is where maybe it's a conversation after this game if OU wins, but. Indiana's down a defensive tackle from the Big Ten title game. He got hurt in the celebration.
Yeah,
they don't have guys like him behind them.
No, they do not.
So if you need, the best unit in the playoffs, you could argue is the OU defense. It's also the deepest unit in the playoffs, where the OU could go through a couple of games. And if some guys get banged up, it's like, okay, no problem. We've dealt with that already. We got another guy ready to go in.
Next man up. And it's like that throughout the defense at every level.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So I think Mateer is going to have like a 280 total offense kind of day.
Okay.
He's going to make the play. I've got him as the offensive MVP because I think he's going to make the plays. I think he's going to maybe Satania will lead on receiving, but we're going to have some chunk plays from a couple other guys. He's going to distribute the ball a little better, and he's got a little, and he's from that perspective. And I think he's going to get us like 280, something like that. And then our double running back weapons are going to get us another.
He
That's
can do
cool.
that without turning the football over. I'll give him that MVP award, but I'm going to need to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good question. He did it on the road at Bama. He was sound with the football. We saw him make more plays and commit turnovers against LSU. We kind of want something in the middle, right? Like, okay, we want something in the middle.
Yeah.
And if we could get that, then I think he's, like I said, my sources are saying that he's had a great week of practice. He looks the best he's looked physically since early in the season. They can tell it's more snap on his speed, snap on his passes. His velocity looks better, and that moving around, he looks like Michigan. The guy who's the running leader against Michigan. So that's why I went with John Mateer. That's my score. So
Canucks, my sleeper pick, says Kafka 2K. That would not hurt my feelings, not even a little bit.
If you can leak him out and Bama loses him and Mateer finds him, there are big plays to be had there, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, everyone's like the Kanik, everyone's like the Satania big LSU passes. Like, well, LSU busted the coverage. Okay, well, you still have to pass, still have to recognize it and get the guy the ball, right? I mean, you could see Bama, I think, losing Kanik, and if Mateer can find him, I think there's some big plays there.
Okay. All right. Obviously, that anything else you want to add about John Mateer there, okay, Chris?
Well, you guys said it perfectly, man. Let's go get it done.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Isaiah Satana has another huge game. And at this point, with all the shit that's being said from the Alabama side, it's wild to me again because OU has been respectful. In whipping their ass the last two times they played them, they've been respectful. And we're getting all this crazy talk coming this way. It makes you really hope that they go and rub that shit in on Friday night. It really does. So I'd love it if you had an offensive explosion to go along with the defensive ass whipping that they're going to be. I mean, they keep talking about they haven't had a complete game. And, I don't know that I see it coming. But you know what? If it's gonna come now. Let's see it.
If he has 3 great games in him, I would be happy for them to be the next 3 great games, the next 3 games, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. All right. I've got the 27-17 score. I think they keep it close for a while. I think Oklahoma's got it firmly in hand. Part of that may be a late field goal / a late touchdown in junk time, something like that. But I think Oklahoma wins it by 2 scores. Okay, Chris?
Yeah, I got 24-13. I think that you're able to hold them to 13 points. They may go for a lot of yards. They may go for a lot of different things. But I think that, again, bend, don't break. And when you get within the 20-yard line, that's whenever this defense turns it up to another level. Okay? No bust, no crazy stuff on the back end or whatnot. And I think you'll be fine. Just keep everything in front of you. Make them work, right? Make them become their own worst enemy with the clock. That's what you did to win that game. You made them drive the field. They used so much of that time that when those last plays came, they mattered so much. But the problem is that, hell, you basically killed yourself trying to get to those plays, right? So at the end of the day, I got 24-13. I think it's a defensive battle. I think that we're in short. We get some short fields here and there. I think it's a battlefield position. I think we win that battle, and I think that at the end of the day, I just feel really good about what this offense is going to do. And I could be totally wrong. We could be sitting here thinking 21-20, 21-17, 20-17, something like that. Hell, 17-10, something like that, something stupid, right? But at the same time, I just feel like 3 weeks, you got to prepare. That's kind of the X factor.
Let me ask a question real quick.
Go ahead.
Do you feel like if it's a low scoring game like what we've seen in the last couple of weeks from Oklahoma, does that favor OU? if it's a 17-13, 17-10 type of game, doesn't that
Those
favor
games,
Oklahoma?
even the scores that we put up here, those favor Oklahoma. I think the 27 points, if that's the case, then yeah, no, you had a great day for OU. But to me, I think that it's again, like we said, and we continue to say, 23 points, in my opinion, is what it will take to get us to where we want to get to, and we'll talk about that another time. But I think 23 points is really your ideal number. That's the magic number. But I still think that you can win games in the playoffs with 17 points with the way that this defense is playing. So I think it all plays in the hand of OU. If this is somewhat of a just kind of a barn burner and everybody's just taking their best shot and we're just going up and down the field and so are they, then that's whenever it leans towards Bama. But I think that you slow the game down, you make it a very physical game, and you go from there. Yeah, I like our chances.
I mean, if it gets to like 13-3 or something like that, fourth quarter, an OU's up or something like that, I think OU's used to that high wire act.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Bama is less used to it. And OU's been playing it for the last 4 or 5 games. They're comfortable in that environment, mentally tough in that environment. And I think you could see Bama making a critical. That's when their critical mistake could occur, right? They don't trade off Kip Lewis. He comes up the middle, sacks Simpson, and he fumbles the ball or something like that. And then OU, grinds out another Sandell field goal, and they win a rock fight. If you're Bama, you need. I think Chris is right. Bama needs this to become a little bit of a up and down shootout
Basketball game.
Yeah, they don't want to get in a rock fight with Oklahoma because, as you said, they're a finesse, execution, passing game. That's who they are, right?
Finesse as in Charmin soft. Yes, correct.
Yeah. Well, I mean, exactly. So, but OU is, as Teddy Lehman keeps saying, teams don't want to play us because we're going to beat them for 60 minutes. So I think, if it's a rock fight, it favors OU. Bama, you got to get this into a freewheeling game where your offense puts up big plays and starts getting some confidence back. But if you're stuck in a rock fight, you're probably mentally thinking, well, OU's going to find a way to win this. Mm-hmm. And they've won the last 2 games that were rock fight-ish. So, 3 games that were rock fight-ish. Tennessee game, that margin's a little elusive. OU had more of a gap there in that game than folks really realize. So yeah, I think if it's 16-9, I also think there's a chance Bama misses a field goal and gets kind of frustrated, and then starts going for it on 4th downs and doesn't come away with some points when they probably should have tried to kick a field goal. Stuff like that. We've seen that from DeBoer before. Seen it from Dan Lanning before. So when you don't have Sandell and you can't bank points automatically, college coaches are gambling a lot, and it's not paying off for them always.
Yeah, and the beauty is that Oklahoma doesn't have to.
No.
Yeah.
Sandell puts points up, and with your defense, the more, it's like when we're under Lincoln Riley, under Brent, a 6-point lead is huge, right? Because you have to score a touchdown to get back against Oklahoma. It's the equivalent.
Oh, was safe with Lincoln.
Right. Yeah. It's the equivalent of Lincoln being up by 17. I mean, it just is. I mean, because in 4 minutes, Lincoln can give up 14 points. It's back to a field goal. So, but yeah, that's the way I view it. Is that you don't want to get into the grimy rock fight with Oklahoma. You want LA Lakers showtime on offense, right? That's what you want.
Check out Sooner Cowboys. He's locking it down. 30 for Oklahoma, 2 Mateer touchdowns, a defensive touchdown, 3 Sandell field goals to Bama's 10.
Sooner Cowboys is saying that our usual negative force of energy.
Yeah, Sooner Cowboys.
That's crazy.
something's going on here.
I'll give it to Sooners Cowboys. These past two.
Predicting Oklahoma and Georgia in the national championship with Oklahoma winning the other day.
I'm telling you, these past 2.5 weeks, Sooner Cowboys has been probably the least pessimistic OU fan out there. The belief is there. We made the playoffs. We did what we needed to do. It's there. That's what y'all got to keep doing. If you're gonna be there at the game, be loud, be loud, be loud.
You want to go to these games?
Yeah, let's go to these games real quick and wrap this up.
All right. So OU Alabama, the spread was Bama by 1.5, and I did this 2 days ago. I think it's flipped. But either way, I have OU win. I have OU covering and winning. Kchris does. So does Jason. Based upon our scores there. All right. So A&M Miami. A&M was the favored by the spread was A&M minus 3.5. I have A&M winning, and it's very simple. 2 words describe why I have A&M winning. Mario Cristobal.
Yeah. I don't. I've got Miami winning this game. I've been kind of going back and forth on it a little bit. I agree with you about Mario. He's the X factor in that, but I think that Ruben Bain and what they do up front is going to be troublesome for an Aggie team that really hasn't played the best defensive fronts in the country. And when they did, they didn't really do well with it. And matter of fact, I mean, there's no way they come back from, and we've seen a lot of people talk about Carson Beck and him turning the football over and their losses. He's been pretty good for the rest of the year, other than that, those 2 games. He had a total of I think it was 6 turnovers in those 2 games. That being said, we saw Marcel Reed throw 3 interceptions in the first half of South Carolina. He's had at least 1 interception in the last 4 or 5 games.
And he looked shitty against Texas.
I just don't think he's very good. I don't know that, and I don't think that you're going to consistently run the football on this defensive front of Miami. I just don't know that you are. Do I think that Mario Cristobal can fuck this all up in one fell swoop? I do. I do believe that with all my heart. But I would tell you that I also think that Aggie is puckered up big time right now after losing. They go undefeated the entire season, playing a pretty trashy schedule, to be quite honest with you. They lose the Lone Star Shootout game, and now they're looking at closing their season with back-to-back losses and being like, what the fuck just happened? And I don't really know that I can see. I don't really envision any other way. It's Aggie. It's what they do.
All right, Kchris, where are you feeling on this game?
We're talking Miami, right?
Miami A&M.
Guys, I'm going with A&M. I think the Aggies get it done. I think that 11 a.m. is criminal. That is criminally underrated. This game is being played at noon. Regardless, though, I think
it's NFL kickoffs that's doing it.
Oh yeah, I think that Bet comes out there and makes it a game early, but I just feel like A&M ends up pulling it out. I mean, it's tough, especially be thrown in that situation. You're going to play, 12th man, all the rest of that stuff. Playoff game that hasn't happened in forever that they've been involved in anything like this. So again, I just think the vibes are going to be too high. They're going to try to get that taste out of their mouth, and I think that they're going to go in there and try to smash Miami, which I think that they win probably. I'm not going to lie. I think they probably win something around like Jason's score for our game, 27-17.
Okay. All right. The 2 games really not that interesting. Ole Miss Tulane. Ole Miss is 17.5-point favorite. I have Ole Miss winning. I think Tulane might cover because of the chaos in Oxford with the coaching staff and everything else. It doesn't breed like a fine-tuned precision game from them.
Before we get to that real quick,
yeah,
I meant to go back to this. Anthony Manzano brought it up a little while ago. Explain to me the idiocy in the comments by the O-lineman for A&M saying that Ruben Bain isn't good and he doesn't scare them. Yeah, I think it's
A&M idiocy.
A&M idiocy, and them not. This is them. this is how I feel about Indiana coming up next week. That they don't know better. They don't know better because they're never in this position. I mean, Miami hasn't been in this position much either. This is part of the reason, though, that I just think. I mean, this is just. It would be so Aggie to do what I think is going to happen. So, I did want to bring that up. It's stupid. Ruben Bain's probably one of the top 2 players in the country this year. You know, he's been fantastic. Although it is what it is, playing against who they played against. But he's done everything he's supposed to do. He's definitely their guy. So, yes, it's stupid by A&M, Anthony. Good call.
So, Ole Miss, Tulane. Okay, Chris, Jason, do you have Ole Miss winning, right?
Yeah. I don't think it's enough.
It's a betters game only, right? 17.5. It's like, okay,
I think if you can get within 70, I don't even know that, but I mean, we're talking about a game that they won by 5 touchdowns at the start of the year. Do I think that Tulane's probably better than they were then, and you might get an uneven performance from Ole Miss, so it's closer? Sure. Do I think that they have enough to beat Ole Miss? No.
I mean, it would be a huge upset, right? I mean, it would be a catastrophic.
It'd be a bad thing for the rest of the fucking college football playoff and getting rid of G5 schools.
Okay. All right. And then Oregon versus James Madison. Oregon's a 21.5-point favorite. I have Oregon winning, Oregon to cover. It's just too much speed, too much talent in their skill position guys for JMU.
Would it surprise you? Oh, Lone Wolf said 35-21. I don't think I mentioned anything about the Tulane game. Yeah, I would probably go with a Sooner Cowboys score 41-17 for that game. JMU against Oregon. Would it surprise you if they made it look funny to start the game? I think JMU probably. I don't see an OSU type of thing. People, if you ever see that video, go to my Twitter and see that video for that OSU Oregon game. Regardless, though, what is it? Lonely women make good lovers.
Come on, with you. We were all like with you on all this shit, and then you go throw that
one. Anyway, I don't think it's an Oregon OSU type of day to where it's just like they're just getting up and down the field. But at the same time, at nighttime, they're going to be going crazy up there in Eugene. I just don't see how the Dukes go up there and do anything that's significant to keep that game close. I mean, Lone Wolf, that's most likely the score right there. Something like that's respectable at the least.
You're lying, Sooner Cowboys. Top 10 in sacks in the Conference US in Sunbelt City don't mean shit to me, bro. I just don't care. And they just hired Billy to replace this guy. Yeesh.
They got him cheap.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. Money in Florida.
He's got that Florida money sitting in his 401k. So
yeah,
what does he care?
That's like that Virginia Tech freaking. Not quite like that Virginia Tech discount that they got on James Franklin. Woo. Woo.
It's pretty bad. So, any other
5 Billy's back in the G5.
So the only other thing I would say is, do you guys have any quick takes? Do we think we see a Michigan coach hired soon? Or are they so deep in the mud that it's going to take a while? Because they just now announced some wide-sweeping university commission to look at all things athletics.
I think probably their best bet is to wait on the mentor guy, right? I think that's...
He has a show cause.
Oh, he does have a show. Oh, he has a show cause? Oh, well, never mind. Excuse me.
He was neck deep in the signal stealing crap.
I don't know what to do then. I don't know what you do then.
Do you think Jed Fish is their only hope?
I think they're going with it sounds like to me that were you guys just talking about Arizona State's coach?
Yeah, but he's about to get an extension.
Yeah, I don't think that matters. They can't they can't spend the kind of money that they're going to spend at BYU or at Tech at Arizona State. They're not going to do it. I think that
That's a good point, and I think you're probably right.
That's job. I think if it gets offered to him, I think he's gone.
Okay.
And I think he's next in line after Kalen DeBoer, who's apparently about to get an extension before he gets his ass whipped on Friday night. Maybe it's already done.
That's bad. So somebody was asking about Omari and Miller hit the portal. Is OU interested? All signs indicate that OU is interested. Will they pick him up? I don't know. I think it's going to be hard. Nagy's going to keep most of his cards back and then strike quickly when the portal opens. That's what he did in spring. That's what he's going to do January 1st and 2nd. It's going to be a lot of speculation, and then you're going to see a quick hammer strike. And so Sooner Cowboys thinks that Glenn Schumann is going to end up at Michigan. That would be a very interesting hire. Not saying it's a bad one, but that would be interesting. So from the portal standpoint, that's where we are. Obviously, we saw Kendall Dolby hit the portal. As we've said, if you missed the Monday recruiting show, Chris and I heavily speculated that the team has decided not to make portal announcements until their season's over, and to keep the focus on the field. That may change if they beat Bama, with some kids wanting to feel like they need to get with their representation and get going, because the Rose Bowl, obviously, the OU wins. They play in the Rose Bowl January 1st, and then they play in the Peach Bowl January 10th, and then it's Miami the 19th, right? I think that's right, from that perspective. So if they keep winning, I expect to see some kids make some announcements. But I think right now the team's hunkered down, and guys like, I'm just going to throw out a name here, like Jacob Sexton is like, I want to be ready to contribute in this playoff run. I don't put myself in the portal until OU's done playing football. Things like that. That's where I think the tightness and chemistry of the team's kind of coming through. Is that Dolby's not been with the team for a couple of weeks, is what the stories I've heard. So. And obviously, Jaden Gibson's the only other guy, and he's not been with the team for like 6-8 weeks. So from that perspective, but I think Amari Miller is a guy that they will try and target in the portal. The tight end position, there's some names that are in. Offensive line, there's some names. D-line, there's some names. And linebackers are some names as well. It's as last bit of portal talk, it's the linebackers that are the key to this portal class. If you lose Heineke and Kip, which I think is what they're kind of expecting, you got to go out and get a guy from the portal.
I would agree. That's crazy if that ends up happening.
Well, Heineke's waiver is on pretty shaky ground.
That's so wild.
Well, it is, but he does have, he's played 4 years of football and he redshirted. So he's played 3 years of football and he redshirted. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. I'd love to think he's going to get.
Well, I don't know. You say shaky ground, but we have yet to see any kind of court ruling not hold up. If Trinidad Chambliss gets another year, they've got to give him another year.
Yeah, well, this is the problem: is that he's seeking a waiver rather than seeking an injunction.
But the waiver will go by the wayside if this injunction goes through that Trinidad's on. Right now, they're awaiting this.
Well, he's had two. He's claiming He's claiming an injury redshirt year. He's due an injury redshirt year.
Okay,
that's Trinidad's argument. Canic's argument is I was playing lacrosse.
There's definitely a court case. Maybe it's not Trinidad's, but there's another court case about adding another.
That's the fifth. That's the 5th year case. That case, I talked about it with Chris right before we started. Is that gives Jaron Canic another year? That would give Kendall Daniels another year. That case is about to be decided, and everything from the judge so far seems to indicate that if he's going to issue any relief, it will only be to the athletes filing, not a wide sweeping ruling. So there's lots of things to play there, but even that 5th year thing wouldn't help Canik. Canik wants a 6th year of sports. 1 lacrosse, 3 football, and a red shirt. That's 5 years. He's looking for a 6th year. So, and I'm playing lacrosse as I'm not aware of anybody who has won that argument. Chambliss hasn't been hurt 2 seasons, which is what I've always heard needs to be the injury redshirt thing, right? You got to lose the better part of 2 seasons, like Jason White. Chambliss was hurt for 1 year. So we'll see, but TJ Finley's in his 7th effing year of football. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But you're right, Jason. There's some things that could play out. If the judge reverses that ruling and gives 5 years to everybody, and gives a 5-year ruling to anybody, then all of a sudden, you could bring back, then Samuel Musigo gets 5 years. That changes linebacker. You could get Kendall Daniels back. You could get Marvin Jones Jr. You could even have Grayson Holton come back if that's the case. So and across the country it would make things very, very interesting. And then a bunch of guys who aren't portaling because they're out of eligibility could hit the portal as well. So it could get a little nutty. But the judge appears to be indicating from his advice to counsel, based upon what I read, that if he provides relief, it's only going to be to the players filing. Now, other players could file instantly based upon that and ask for a quick ruling and an injunction, but I'm not a legal mind. We have a legal mind here who could help us with that if and when that ruling comes to pass.
Like the past, everything has gone against the NCAA. Everything.
And you're right. Yeah, and so if they lose this case, and their tenuous argument is around the 4-year academic schedule. Mm-hmm. Which is weak because most people take more than 4 years to graduate college these days anyway.
And they've talked about going to a 6-year deal anyway. I mean,
we'll see. They did not. I thought they were going to put. Everybody thought they were going to move.
Fucking things go on. Collective bargain. Do that. Everybody gets happy.
So what we always. They thought the 5-year ruling was coming down from the football NCAA council this fall, and they punted, and everyone was like,
6 for 5 or whatever it was, right?
Yeah, it was 5 for 5. They punted, and they're like, "What the hell are you doing?" Right. And then that's led to the court case, and we'll see where we go. But if this court case gets posted, we'll have our legal expert Chris take a look at the legalese and see if he can make sense or tell as to what the hell's going on.
You might think that Chris being a legal guy and everything, he just jump on that shit ahead of time without being asked. But I guess I know he's busy and shit.
I'm a little bit lazy.
Yeah, he's been watching a lot of film, man. He's been watching a lot of film.
Yeah, I'm a little bit lazy.
I was gonna use, but I said busy.
That's the word. That's the word. I'm busy too.
So guys, are either of you going to the game?
I think I may. The prices continue to plummet on these tickets.
So are we thinking Sunday morning recap?
Sunday morning recap. Yeah, we could do that.
Because this game's going to end midnight my time, probably.
Yeah.
I think so too. Sunday morning for sure. Did you guys want to go ahead and show our picks for the CFP for the total? Or was that what we were doing? I made those brackets. I don't know if that was.
No. We will come back next Thursday, one way or the other, and talk about the CFP and where we are and what's going on.
Okay, cool.
Sorry. We're not coming back Christmas Day. I'm not doing a podcast Christmas Day. We'll on Twitter. Now that Jason's back on Twitter, we will announce on Twitter when we're going to review things again, because the games aren't until New Year's Day. So maybe we find a way to do a quick podcast with you guys over the weekend after Christmas and update you on all things Sooners and all things Sooner football.
Yeah. TP, the NCAA didn't want to pay players either. Here we are.
Yeah. See how well that's worked.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, congrats congrats on a great season of covering OU, and we will be back on Saturday morning. It's not Sunday morning, Saturday morning. Sorry, to recap the game one way or the other, and hopefully it's the start of Jason talking a bunch of shit about Indiana.
I think that they're bullshit. Yeah,
It's an early preview right there.
yeah,
Right.
there it is. Old ball humbug Chris Mason says no Christmas Day pods.
I thought Baja. Come on, guys.
I'm just busting your chops because Jay said so.
Well, if Jay's doing a podcast on Christmas Day, he should let me know.
Yeah, we'll hop on. All right, he says we're gonna win too. Hey, I think we all believe so. If we win, definitely gonna beat Indiana's ass at the Rose Bowl. We'll have the Sooner, the Hall of Fame caravan will be on the way to the Rose Bowl.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
All right, man. We're out.
Good stuff. Appreciate everybody coming in. See you all on the next one.